Welcome to the Success Series podcast, brought to you by the Presto Post. This show is all about the lessons, secrets, top tips and philosophies of some of the world's most famous people. Each episode is dedicated to one well-known name, be them musicians, movie stars, famous entrepreneurs, writers, painters, investors, philosophers, scientists, you name it. It was a long digression, and the practical wisdom they think will be helpful to you. But these podcasts are not interviews done by us. Instead, we've taken the best clips and soundtracks we can find on the web, polished them up, and distilled them into what we like to call nutritiously dense audio snacks, or just nutritious audio snacks. The magic number is 7. This is the number of lessons we try to fit into each podcast. However, extras and bonuses are not uncommon, so don't be surprised if some podcasts include 10, 12 or more. Besides, rules are made to be broken, aren't they? And seeing as we created the rule in the first place, well... Anyway, on to the show. Today we have advice from the wise and very wealthy American businessman Shawn Carter, otherwise known as one of the world's most famous rappers and best-selling musicians of all time, otherwise known as the one and only Jay-Z. In the early 90s, after being refused deal after deal by most of the major record labels of that era, he found himself selling homemade CDs out of the boot of his car. Getting nowhere, frustrated and undeterred, he decided to start his own independent record label. As you do. Together with his friends, he co-founded Roc-A-Fella Records in 1995. Fast forward to today, he's sold more than 100 million records and has received 21 Grammy Awards for his music. He also holds the record for most number one albums by a solo artist on the US Billboard 200, with 14. That's his music career. He's also a well-respected businessman. His affairs include being the co-creator of the Rocawear clothing line and the owner of the 4040 Sports Bar in New York. He's the former president of Def Jam Recordings and the founder of the entertainment company Roc Nation. He founded the sports agency Roc Nation Sports and is a certified NBA and MLB sports agent. And in his spare time, he sits on the board of Budweiser Select as a co-brand director, buys gold standard champagne brands, launches cigar and cologne ranges, invests in tech companies, and writes the occasional hit record. As you do. According to Forbes, he has an approximate net worth of $810 million. That's $810 million. He's also married to the beautiful and equally successful Giselle Knowles Carter, otherwise known as Sasha Fierce, otherwise known as Beyonce. So, without further ado, here are 7 lessons from Jay-Z. First up is the orthogonality of happiness and success, as most people define it. As true as it sounds, life really is all about balance.
It's complex, right? And it's deceiving at times, because people think the two equate,
Yes.
To each other, and they don't, right?
You have a lot of money.
It's up, yeah.
And
I have a lot of happiness, but that doesn't mean that the two equate to each other.
has your happiness risen at the same amount as your bank account?
No. That's the thing. They don't
Equate, or they're not tied in any way.
They're not tied to each other.
Wow.
I mean, it allows you freedom and it allows you to go places where you can smile and look at the sunset and things like that. That's what you choose to do and you enjoy to do.
Right.
But there are a lot of people with tons of money who are unhappy because either they become a prisoner of their money,
Right.
or they've become so consumed with getting money that they don't allow time for happiness.
Right.
Life is about balance, right? You have to have some type of balance. You have time for work and it's time for play. And if you don't allow these two things to coexist, you have an imbalance of one or the other.
Number 2. Inspiration can be found anywhere and everywhere. You just have to look.
Yeah, I'm inspired by, life and all sorts of things. You can say something right now and it would inspire me to write a song or something to happen. Most kings just happen to be inspired by Basquiat drawing, the drawing, and he had the most young kings get their head cut off on the bottom. And I looked at that and I was like, it's powerful. Just the statement in itself, lends itself for a song. The song starts inspired by Basquiat. My chariot's on fire. Everybody took shots, hit my body up, I'm tired. And then it's this, they build me up to break me down, to build me up again. They like, Hov, we need you back so we could kill your ass again. You know, it's like this thing, this love, hate thing that the world has with success, period.
Number 3. Instead of competing with the talents and abilities of others, unite with them. Join forces. When you collaborate with others, magical things can happen.
I love I love that thing of collaborating. You taking the best of what you do, and someone taking the best of what you do, and you not robbing from what they do, and they not robbing from what you do, and y'all bring the best of what you are to the table, and you put it in this mix, and you see what happens. You know, I love that part of creating. So there'll definitely be, because I don't believe in those lines that people put up for music. You know, this is for this person, this is for that people. You know, this is rock, this is blues. I just believe good music, bad music, and, you know, put those two elements in the room and, you know, see what happens. Let the, you know, God, the universe, the movement, whatever happens in that room tonight, wine, whatever happens, you know, make great music.
Next up is originality and discipline. Don't get caught up in empty pursuits. Don't jump on the latest trend because, well, it is the latest, or because others are doing it. Have the confidence to say no to what is not you. Believe in your own style, your own interests, your own niche, your own funk. Originality and discipline go hand in hand.
Again, it goes back to a bit of what Warren was saying as well. Like, it's the discipline as well, the discipline to not get caught up in the moment. You know, music is like stocks too. You know, there's the hot thing of the moment. You know, there's this hot electro sound, or the hot auto-tune voice, or the hot whatever's new and exciting. And you know, people tend to make emotional decisions based on that. They don't stick with what they know. This is who I am. This is what I do. And then they, you know, jump on this next hot thing, and you know, it's not for you. So for me, just having the discipline and having the confidence that in who I am, you know, and if I go into a studio and if I find my truth of the moment, there are a number of people in the world that can relate to what I'm saying, and it's gonna buy into what I'm doing. You know, not because it's the new thing of the moment, but because it's my genuine emotions. It's how I feel. It's how I articulate the world. And, you know, just having the discipline to just, you know, be yourself.
Number 5, persevere. Succeeding with your grand and untypical goals is hard for a very good reason. It's also a blessing in disguise, because if it were easy, well, everybody would be doing the same. And so there will be no point. The effort you put into achieving a goal is what makes it so worthwhile. As the saying goes, you have to open many oysters before you find the pearl.
And I wish I could say we were geniuses and said we're going to start our own company. You know, that's not what happened. You know, in the beginning, we went to every single label, and every single label shut their door on us. The genius thing that we did was we didn't give up. We didn't say, because these guys, you know, we use that what do they know approach. You know, we didn't give up at that point. I think that, you know, that was the genius thing we did. We started selling our own CDs, and we built our own buzz, and then the record company came back to us. So now we had a different negotiation. You know, it wasn't the same artist label relationship. Now we retain ownership in our own company. And it was the best thing for us.
You have to stick to the things that interest you, that inspire you, that you love. Hence, in business, relationships, even with your own self-dialogue, with life in general, instincts are the lighthouse when you are the captain of a lost ship in a haze of thick fog. It's not a good idea, of course, to ignore the lighthouse.
You embody a business mogul, if there ever was one, whether it's the NBA, 40/40, brands around the globe, your own production company and label. What's your advice to other people coming up who are trying to make it and trying to become moguls in and of their own right? What's your advice to them?
My advice is just do things that are true to you. You know, most things that I'm involved with are extension of being creative. Rocawear is a clothing company. It's part of who you are, and hip hop is your attitude and what you're trying to express, how you dress. I love sports growing up. I grew up in a household where sports was on 24/7. So these are things that are comfortable for me. These are things that I like. So I would just say get involved in things that you love, and also have a standard for yourself and have some sort of integrity, and try to, find some sort of truth in what you're doing.
Best investment advice that you ever received? What was it? Do you remember? Whether it was in the market or just investing in life and in business?
Yeah, I think just doing things that you believe in, things that you understand. I think that's the best investment. I heard Warren Buffett say that just the other day. And I just innately felt that, just invest in things that you understand.
Speaking of Warren Buffett, you recently spent an afternoon with him in Omaha, Nebraska. Went to lunch, you sat down with him. Did it turn out that the two of you had more in common maybe than you thought?
I think most people do. After a conversation, you realize that you have more in common than things that are dissimilar. Yeah.
What did you take away from that? What did you learn from sitting with him, and what do you think he might have gleaned from meeting with you?
I don't know. I have no idea on his side. On my side, he's very sharp. And again, he just affirmed to me that instincts is really important in business. I didn't go to any proper business school or read any follow any manuals like the Record Business 101 or anything like that. I just pretty much followed my instincts. And he just reaffirmed that for me, that, your instincts are very important to you.
At the core level, everyone has more or less the same desires, thoughts, feelings, and fears. Famous, successful, wealthy, or not, fear of failure is an inescapable part of being human.
We all have fear of failure in some sort of way.
Despite success as a business mogul, as a musician?
Well, as a business mogul and as anybody who's been successful, you've always, the weight of who you are is on you as well.
Sure.
The weight of all you've done is on you. Yeah, make your first album again, or do that interview like you had with
I understand that.
Pac. I want it to be of that level. It's just it's the weight of who you are. I said in the Kanye remix, and do you have the power to get out from up under you? The power to get out from everything you've done.
If you like this podcast and would like to see more of them, there are many ways you can support it. You can leave a review on iTunes, on our website, or anywhere else the podcast appears. You can share it with friends on social media or on your own blog or podcast. You can talk about it over breakfast pancakes, paleo pancakes, of course. You can purchase any books you recommend on the site using the hyperlinks, which will take you straight to Amazon. Or you can support us directly with a donation. You can do that at pressthepost.org/support. As always, thank you for listening.